Yeah. In continuation with the previous video, now we will discuss about the synchronous motor. As I told earlier, this synchronous motor operates with two supply sources, one is AC as well as DC, and this motor runs with a constant speed, and that's why this motor is used for constant speed applications as well as reactive power compensation purpose. Reactive power compensation purpose means in previous classes we already discussed that what is real power, what is reactive power, and summation of these two will be called to the name of apparent power. Alright, so now in that reactive power is nothing but as I told an analogy, to sleep a person eating some amount of idli, and that is equivalent of reactive power. Now that reactive power should be compensated, and reactive power is minimum means the machine is capable of higher efficiency, right? Can you understand this? Your reactive power consumption of a particular appliances is minimum means that machine is capable of delivering high efficiency, right? So we need to compensate the reactive power consumption, and for that we can utilize the synchronous motor, right? Now we will see the motor characteristics of an induction motor. IM is nothing but induction motors. Motor speed, number of revolution in a given time frame will be called with the name of revolution per minute, right? And speed of the AC motor depends on the frequency of the input power and the number of poles, which I stated earlier. Here NS is nothing but synchronous speed, that is in the revolution per minute, is equivalent to 120 into F by P. F is nothing but frequency, P is the number of poles, 120 F by P. You need to keep this in your mind. Your NS, N suffix S indicates the synchronous speed. The synchronous speed of any induction motor or synchronous motor is equivalent to 120 F by P. The actual speed of the motor will be less than the synchronous speed in the induction motor, right? Whereas the synchronous motor will operate in this NS itself. Suppose you assume that the synchronous speed of a particular machine is 1500 RPM. Your induction motors will run at 1450 RPM, whereas your synchronous motor will run at the 1500 itself. And then what is the synchronous speed? It means that is the imaginary magnetic field rotational speed. Can you understand? The imaginary north and south pole rotates with the speed of ns, right? But the physical rotation of the rotor shaft will be less than synchronous speed in the induction motor. Whereas in the synchronous motor, the physical rotation also will be equal to the synchronous speed, right? Now, another terminology is slip. Slip is only for induction motor, not for the synchronous motors. So slip percentage is equal to synchronous speed minus full load rated speed, that is actual speed of the rotor, synchronous speed of the magnetic field, and actual speed of the rotor divided by actual speed of the synchronous speed. Synchronous speed minus the actual speed divided by synchronous speed multiplied by 100 will give the slip percentage. What it indicates means your slip is high, your full load speed is less, right? So that is a basic understanding. And another terminology is VFD, variable frequency drive, that we will familiarize later. Now we will see the certain parameters. Power factor. While reduce the load on the motor, the active current reduces, but there is no corresponding reduction in the magnetizing current. should not operate the motor as under loaded condition. That's why we should not operate the motor as under loaded condition. If you operate at the underloaded condition, your machine will consume more amount of magnetizing current, that is nothing but reactive power consumption. In the last class itself, when we explained the power factor, I told that a person eating some amount of idli to sleep, for mere sleeping he is eating, where the idli energy is spent to operate the internal organs of the human body. The same way, in a motor, to lively operate the internal organs, that means the magnetic field circuit. To establish the magnetic field circuit, a machine requires some amount of power. That power is constant, whether your machine is sleeping or running, that is not important. It consumes constant amount of power. Now, when your application is off-loaded condition, in the off-loaded condition also the reactive power consumption will be the same quantity as of full loaded condition. That means your machine efficiency reduces when you operate at the underloaded condition. That will be explained in the table in the forthcoming slides, right? And the second parameter is motor efficiency. High value of efficiency and power factor close to unity are desired, right? So that is the ultimate objective. References, we need to achieve a higher efficiency as well as the power factor close to unity. Efficiency of the motor is determined by its own losses, that is intrinsic losses, which will be called with the name of fixed losses and variable losses. Fixed losses are created in the magnetic core losses and friction and windage losses. Magnetic core loss is nothing but the other name will be called with the name of iron loss. Hope all those terminologies you may be familiar in your +2 level. Eddy current loss as well as hysteresis loss. This depends upon the core material. Core is nothing but where you are winding the stator coil and rotor coil. That is a solid structure where we will wound the coils, right? That will be called with the name of core. And the core has a circulating current, and that current will be called with the name of eddy current, and which creates an eddy current loss as well as hysteresis losses, right? The magnetic reversal process will produce a hysteresis losses. And hope you can remember the hysteresis curve, where it starts from the XY axis from center point to magnetization, and when you withdraw the magnetization, the curve will be like this, right? And friction and windage losses based on the ventilation and rotating parts, the friction and windage loss will increase or decrease. The other component of losses, variable losses, that depends upon the load, that is stator and rotor. Resistance losses and stray losses depends upon the load current. The load current is nothing but stator and rotor current, right? When you operate at the full load, this loss will be maximum. When you operate at the off load, this loss will be 50%. And another is power supply quality. And these are all the factors affecting the energy efficiency. That means power factor is the one factor which affects the motor efficiency, and motor characteristics, and motor efficiency is also another characteristics. And here these are the factors affecting the energy efficiency. First one is power supply quality. As per the Bureau of Indian Standards, the tolerance to the variation in voltage is plus or minus 6%. That means in your houses, if you are utilizing a single phase supply, means 230 volts is an required amount of voltage, plus or minus 6% is possible. Beyond that, if you receive 200 voltage, means that is an intolerable voltages. Similarly, the variation is 50, frequency is 50 Hz. The frequency variation can be allowed plus or minus 3%. That means you can go up to 48.5 to 51.5. That variation can be allowed. Now, the voltage fluctuation and unbalanced voltage both have detrimental impacts on the motor performance. That also you will see with a consolidated chart, right? So here you can see the voltage percentage increases means the starting and maximum running torque increases. It is 110% and 120%. In both the cases it increases, and slip decreases, whereas your efficiency for 100% load condition, small increment. For an underload condition, your efficiency decreases, power factor is also decreases, right? And maximum, when you reduce the voltage slightly, that means 10%, your efficiency decreases at the 100% by 2 points, and at the 70% load it is almost no difference. On the 50% load you need to elevate an efficiency of 1 to 2 points. That means suppose you want to operate a machine at the underloaded condition, means you need to reduce the voltage so that you can increase the efficiency. Similarly, on the frequency effect, when you increase the frequency, slight increase in each load, and when you decrease the efficiency, slight decrease in each load. Efficiency decreases and efficiency increases with respect to the frequency variations. That is also another important fact, right? Another, the options available for energy manager to ensure near to rated voltage at the motor terminal includes load and power factor improvement by providing the matching power factor capacitors, right? So you need to attach external capacitance at the load end to minimize the reactive power consumption, so that the voltage at the motor terminal will be nominal, right? Will not be a low voltage, right? And minimize the line or cable voltage drop from substation to the motor terminal. In the substation, the voltage may be 230. At your end, voltage may be 220. That is a drop in the cable. So now you need to reduce the cable resistance so that you can reduce the voltage drop. So that can be adapted. And transformer tap changing is required in case of consistent and continuous low voltage situations. So at some cars, you are receiving a low voltage, means you need to adjust the sending end transformer tap settings. That means you need to step up the voltage at the sending end itself. That you just keep in your preliminary knowledge. No need of elaborate thing here, right? The options can be exercised to minimize voltage unbalance include balancing any single phase loads equally among all the three phases. Simple. Suppose in your houses you have a 3-phase supply. All your loads are evenly distributed in all the 3 phases, means you won't get any minimum voltage. Suppose you are loading all your house loads, appliances, you are operating all your house appliances in 1-phase supply itself. Definitely your voltage will be minimum. That you need to verify it. And segregating any single phase loads which disturb the load balance and feed them from this separate line or transformer. This is with respect to the industries, right? So hope with this we will wind up the class here. We'll just go through these 2 videos, and in the forthcoming class we will discuss about the remaining factors affecting the energy efficiency, and also we will see the effect of rewinding. All those things we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.